Joining us tonight. I wonder what these images say to you. Maybe confidence, achievement, hard work, happiness. What about these images? Struggle, pain, grief, frustration. The two are quite a contrast. If we focus on the first set of images and the concepts that come to our minds, I think we would all agree it's these type of images and feelings we want for our children and the children that we interact closely with. But often, it's the second set of images that we see in the children closest to us. Whether these images belong to our own children or the children we care for, teach or interact with, it can be heartbreaking for us and for the child. We can search for answers, try a specific strategy, but lots of times we just feel lost and unable to help. If it is our own children, we can blame the school they attend, the teachers they have, or a specific situation as a way of explaining their struggles. If it is the children in our care, we can blame the families, their parents, and the world we live in. Tonight, I'd like to explore another option by unpacking the research around attachment theory. Specifically, we're going to look at the difference that secure attachment can make to the success of our children and how this can be reflected in the school setting. The research on secure attachment and its influences on helping develop characteristics and traits in children that are associated with success is eye-opening. But what is really encouraging is that secure attachment is able to be created, fostered and deepened by things we do as parents and significant others in the lives of children. Not only do we hold the power to support this attachment, we don't even need any specific qualifications or expertise to carry it out. In fact, it can happen quite naturally when we interact with a child when we know what we're looking for. So we know that we all have our own personal experiences of attachment, and it is important that I first acknowledge that some of these may have been difficult, traumatic, or even neglectful. If I or any of the presenters say something tonight, please, as Kim's encouraged you, head outside and one of the staff will follow you out. It is totally fine to take some time to reflect and process. As I share tonight, I'd like you to know that I am not an expert in attachment theory. My background has revolved around raising 4 beautiful children as a Christian single parent. I have been on this single parent journey for 17 years, and despite my many shortcomings and failures, I'm pleased to say that these gorgeous young children have all made it to adulthood. Woven around my parenting has been more than 30 years filled with amazing opportunities to educate, support and encourage hundreds of children and their families as they move through our often demanding and turbulent world. Initially, this happened in my role as a kindergarten to year 6 teacher, then in the specialised education area of learning support for children who face difficulty within academics, as well as dealing with the challenges in their world. Enhancing my educational skills has been further study in areas of learning difficulties, disabilities, challenging behaviours, pastoral care and counselling. Overlaid with these professional understandings have been many more opportunities to learn and develop skills through participating in and facilitating a variety of parenting courses, forums and groups, one of which is the Circle of Security Parenting course that is anchored in attachment theory. So navigating parenting, family dynamics, our fast-changing world and our educational setting in the 21st century is a tough gig. We have all seen those humorous lists describing the roles that parents play, only to feel slightly depressed and somewhat overwhelmed as we scroll down them, noting that they are actually all very true. So, can attachment theory help with our relationship with children? What is attachment theory and the idea that there can be secure attachment? And if there is secure attachment, can there be insecure attachment? And if there is, what can I do about it? Well, attachment theory is not anything new. It was pioneered in the 1940s by John Bowlby, a British psychiatrist, and it was further developed by Mary Ainsworth, an American-Canadian developmental psychologist. According to Bowlby, an attachment is a strong affectional tie that binds a person to an intimate companion. Human attachment begins to form during what Bowlby viewed as a sensitive period of attachment, the first 3 years of a child's life. And this fact links really closely to what we talk about today in the first 1,000 days or the first 2,000 days of a child's life. Bowlby's theory suggests that a child's emotional and behavioural development are actually connected. This means that the nurturing activities caring adults do naturally, like feeding a hungry baby or cuddling a crying child, begin to form this foundation for secure attachment. Not only are emotions and behaviours connected, but the way in which a child is able to form a bond with his or her primary carer within these two domains can set up a pattern for all of their future relationships. Children have a hardwired need for trust and love. When a parent responds to an infant's cries, security is built. The baby learns that his or her needs will be taken care of. This security between a parent and a child helps to set up security between the child and other adults, like educators. Children are born needing to form these attachments with others because this is how they survive. We are all relational beings, needing to do life with others, not on our own. Babies cry, we feed them. Babies cry, we change their nappies. Babies cry and we cuddle them. It is through these naturally caring activities that secure attachment develops. Attachment behaviours from babies are designed to ensure this continued closeness and contact with their attachment figure. In the first year or so of life though, children can make sounds and have actions to communicate, like crying and hitting. Well, like any other skill that we're teaching our children, handling emotions well must be taught. And this is done in a relationship, not by themselves. By naming feelings, you are teaching words to express emotions in appropriate ways. By picking up and cuddling, an upset child, you are teaching them that they are not alone in these big feelings. For secure children, this can be seen in behaviours such as their confidence to have a larger physical space between the attachment figure and themselves, or them not being too upset when the attachment figure leaves them somewhere for a period of time, like at daycare or at school. For less secure children, they may exhibit behaviours such as clinging physically to their attachment figure or rushing back towards them if they think they're going to be left. They may also be challenging to soothe or to settle when they are upset, or to an older child who frowns, crosses their arms and pouts their lips when Dad, for example, says no to watching TV before bed. Dad can say, "You're mad because you want to watch TV, and I said no. I get mad sometimes too when I don't get to do what I want. Let's read this book together instead." These types of everyday interactions not only connect words with feelings and emotions, but it shows the child that feelings are important and that it is not wrong to feel them. If the child knows that kicking is not okay when they are mad, but it is okay to feel mad, then the child can, for example, take a deep breath, take a moment for themselves to calm down, and this is when they're showing the signs of initial self-regulation, which is what they will need throughout their life. These types of examples are what care and responsiveness from attachment figures looks like. Although patterns of attachment and behaviour have been created in these early years, there is encouraging news for those of us, however, who may not have been developing secure attachments with children, and that is that attachment is not set in concrete. All through our lives we can develop and change. This means that although the theory of secure attachment is secured in the early years, it is not closed to change. Continued research shows that secure attachment in adolescence exerts precisely the same profound effect on secure development as it does in early childhood. So it's encouraging to know that positive changes in interactions between an attachment figure and a child or a teenager will lead to more secure attachment for them. But there is that other side too, in which sensitive care and responsiveness has not been given, or may have been given inconsistently over a very extended period of time. In these cases, the child may develop poor sense of clinging, resulting in attachments and behaviours that are not secure, but anxious, avoidant, ambivalent, or disorganised. The responsive social environment that a child functions in is critical, because if the behaviours a child gives to have a need met go ignored, they may eventually stop seeking to have their needs met. And this is a state that we never want our children or ourselves to be in. So, what do behaviours of an insecure child look like? Well, they may appear nervous. They might need frequent reassurance, even in familiar situations. They may not like to be left alone. Maybe they're clinging. Maybe they continue to cry or be upset even after they're reunited with their attachment figure. They could be difficult to soothe. They may have flat, repetitive play, and they may often play alone. They may push you away when you try to comfort them. They may become hostile and aggressive, or sometimes hide their feelings, denying that they feel anything particular at all. At school, they may brag about being the best at everything, act like they deserve special treatment, or make harsh judgments towards their own accomplishments. They may say about themselves that no one really gets me. Or you may hear yourself or other adults when they interact with them saying, "Oh, you're okay, it'll be fine, big boys don't cry." Now, evidence of examples like I've given from time to time is no cause for alarm. We all have bad days and situations we have to handle that are uncomfortable and particularly stressful. It is when there is a frequency or an intensity, or both, of these types of behaviours that may cause you to look a little bit deeper into what might be going on for that child. If there is secure attachment from the beginning, then it comes as no surprise that research shows that security of attachment in infancy leads to good peer relationships in childhood, which leads to intimate friendships in adolescence, and then emotionally positive relationships as adults. This is because secure individuals are comfortable with emotional attachment, and they don't experience intimacy as anything threatening. They are able to manage their emotions appropriately, as well as seek out emotional support when they need it. Ultimately, the security of an attachment relationship depends on the ongoing interactions between the two people and on the sensitivity of each person to the other person's signals. So I'm wondering if you might be sitting there with an increasing sense of dread or guilt flowing over you. I would like to reassure you that none of us can meet a child's needs 100% of the time. Whether you are a parent, an educator, or a professional who spends time with children, that fact doesn't change. What is encouraging news is the fact that research from Circle of Security Parenting tells us that good enough parenting is, well, good enough, and that this good enough looks like an attachment figure meeting the need of a child 30% of the time. Okay? 30%. I don't know about you, but I can do good enough. 30% of my time developing sensitive responsiveness or the ability to tune into the child and respond appropriately is what is needed from an attachment figure to help the child to form a secure attachment. Once established, this early secure attachment provides the child with a base from which to explore the world. Creating a relationship with a child in which feelings and experiences can be shared helps build a solid emotional foundation for that child. Teaching a child to manage emotions, which can only be learnt in the context of a relationship and not alone, is an essential part of developing a secure attachment. Circle of Security Parenting suggests using a state of mind called being with, which is really an attitude of empathy towards the child. Understanding and sharing the feelings of children is the first step to being with. We do this by staying with a child in their emotions rather than trying to stop them from feeling what they feel. We acknowledge the feelings and emotions they are experiencing. We can name the feeling and the emotions, which gives the child language to describe what's happening for them. We can use our wisdom to either sit with them, cuddle them, or help them out. It is through doing this that our children learn to hold feelings on their own. Circle of Security Parenting goes on to share about the balance we need to be able to do this and live in the real world of our busy lives. What we don't want is to teach children that the whole world stops every time they have a feeling. But it is important for the child to know at their core that every feeling they have can be shared when the time is right. Only then can they trust that there is no feeling that they have to struggle with on their own. To highlight this idea of being with a child and their emotions, I'd like to show you a short clip from the film Inside Out. In this clip, Joy doesn't understand Bing Bong's grief, and so she automatically jumps to distract Bing Bong and reason his grief away. But sadness, well, she's able to comfort him by listening. Let's take a look. seek to explain what being with looks like for us and our children. So now's a great time for us just to pause and reflect on the things that I've shared with you so far. And I'd like to recap the main points of secure attachment from the view of the home setting, and then use that to springboard into the school setting. So what we know is that each child is looking for and needs a secure attachment with the caregiver. They start this search from babyhood, and they'll display behaviours such as crying and whinging to elicit a response from their caregiver. As they grow, they need their caregiver to sensitively continue to meet their emotional needs, which may be displayed through behaviours of frustration or aggression, hitting and kicking. And in these times, if caregivers are able to be with and hold their child's feelings 30% of the time, well, that's good enough. This builds a secure attachment which lets the child know they are safe and supported, whether out exploring their world or as they come into us needing comfort, protection, or organising their feelings. Over time, as the caregiver does this, the secure child is better able to self-regulate their feelings and emotions, but also know when to seek out support if needed. From here, a secure child can then venture into that big world of school. It's in this setting that research has discovered that secure attachment brings amazing rewards. Researchers have been able to identify characteristics and traits that are linked to a secure child's development. I have taken those characteristics and traits and provided some examples of what that might look like in a classroom compared to insecure behaviours. So, secure children are resilient. This means they're able to take on a challenge, they try something new, they see mistakes as part of learning, and they have skills that can adapt when coping with stress. Secure children show conscientious work behaviour, such as being organised and prepared. They are on task for longer periods of time, and they remain focused for longer periods of time. Secure children show an interest in learning. They ask questions, they contribute to discussion, they share their experiences, they're enthusiastic with tasks and challenges, and they concentrate for longer periods. Secure children have fewer social problems. They show kind and friendly behaviours, they get in trouble less, they have stable and like-minded friends, positive peer friendships, and they are not often emotionally frustrated. They show better self-control and they worry less. Secure children, they follow the rules. They accept and appreciate classroom procedures, school rules, and school values. They follow these and they have a greater capacity for delayed gratification. Tangible rewards don't have a stronger appeal to them than self-generated positive thoughts about themselves. So who wouldn't want these attributes for the children closest to them? These qualities and traits speak for themselves. But what about when a child is not displaying secure attachment in the school setting? What can you do? Well, it would be helpful if we are parents to look at how security is progressing at home. Remember, this isn't to make us feel guilty, but so that we can make sure we are doing all we can to build a secure attachment with our child. And remember, it's never too late. But if you are confident your child is secure at home, but not at school, what can you do? Our schools present their own unique environment for children to participate in. Sometimes a child might be in a situation at school that causes them to feel insecure. This might be something like they're struggling to learn what's being taught. Maybe the child is a victim of bullying. They might be isolated from their friends in the classroom setting, or they may have had a significant change in their lives, such as a divorce or a move to a new area. They may even have had a trauma, such as a serious childhood illness. These examples are far from exhausting, but what it does is that they remind us to keep communication open and in partnership with our schools, and that's essential. As a teacher and a parent myself, who has needed to work in partnership with my children's school more times than I really would like to tell you, I've created a list of the tips for approaching meetings if you find yourself becoming concerned about a child, either as a parent or as an educator. You can find those tips on the back of your handout, and what I'd like to do now is just share 3 of those with you. Firstly, know that children can have problems at school. It is not uncommon. If you are a parent, some problems can be sorted out at home, just with you and your child. Think about what we've shared tonight. There is no perfect parent and no perfect child, but developing the most secure relationship you can with your child will make the challenges of school easier to cope with and place your child on that path to success. If you do need to attend a meeting, don't try to cover everything. Have 1 or 2 specific issues or problems you would like to start with. Take some written points to the meeting with you and include what your concern is, the behaviours that you're noticing, examples and things that you have tried. What are your wants for the child? Make sure what you are talking about is clear. A phrase such as "they are misbehaving" is too broad, so ask questions. What does the misbehaviour look like? When does it occur? Is it in a similar setting or at a similar time of the day? Is there a trigger that's been able to be identified? If there is an agreement of a concern, have a mindset of working in partnership. This partnership needs to come up with ideas, strategies and plans together. Look at all the possible solutions, evaluate them, and then just choose one. This is when you create a plan. Make sure you understand what you want to achieve, how you will achieve it, and who is responsible for each part. Then commit to follow through. Our schools and our families are both busy, crazy places. Teachers have up to 30 children in their care, and every single one of them needs attention, support and teaching. That's why focusing on 1 or 2 things is helpful. More than that, honestly, won't see follow through. We know partnership with schools and community can only grow from mutual trust, respect and responsibility, and that communication is the #1 dimension. When communication is fostered between a school and its community, then student learning is supported and sustained. As I start to conclude, I would like to finish with a personal reflection. I only learned about attachment theory a few years ago, and like you, I was sitting in a forum hearing a presenter discuss the benefits of secure attachment. And to be truthful, I felt awful. As I listened, I began to feel guilty, overwhelmed, regretful, even shame washed over me as I reflected on my own parenting, teaching and interactions I had with children. Oh my gosh, had I developed secure attachment with them? What about all those times that I just let them cry? Or when I didn't know what to do with those big emotions they were having? What about when I was unwell? Or what about the few years after my divorce when I barely kept my own head above water? I actually felt physically sick. As I shared these concerns with others and I reflected on what had been, I was comforted and encouraged by 2 truths that I hope encourage you. 1, we can often be our harshest critic. As I share with you tonight, I know I'm speaking to many like-minded people. You are here because you are open to new learning, keen to try something different. You take the role you play in a child's life seriously. No child or anyone else can ask more from us than to do the best we can with who we are and what wanted to be, what we wanted to achieve, what we wanted to love, it's not too late. There is an opportunity to share a new perspective, a new learning, or maybe even an apology. No matter what age that child may be, it's never too late. My eldest daughter, Stephanie, who's 29, has been living in Mongolia for the past 19 months on what will possibly be a 5-year stay. 6 months ago, I had the privilege to spend a few weeks with Steph in Mongolia. Now, my eldest child, she is strong, she is intelligent, she is hardworking, she is loyal and she's fierce and she loves deeply. But, like a lot of us, life has not always been easy. And in my role as her mum, I have often wanted to protect her, guard her, but most of all, fix things for her. Are there any other people that like to fix things? A few nods. Well, one day when I was with her in Mongolia, we were on our way back from the countryside after a 4-day trip. And while we'd been away, she left her small kitten at the vet to be desexed. And we had organised to pick the kitten up on the afternoon of our return. But this day, the traffic was horrific. The bus we were on stopped more than usual, and we found ourselves watching the clock, knowing that time was fast slipping away. And as it did, I watched Steph get irritated, annoyed, frustrated, and sad. And I watched these big emotions roll inside her, and with everything that was in me, I wanted to fix it. Phrases like, "It's okay, we might just make it, don't worry, we can go first thing in the morning," or "Ring, ask if they'll stay open for us," all bubbled up within me. But before I spoke, I did something different. I thought about, be with her. Don't try and fix it, don't say anything. Be quiet and just be with her. And so I did. I sat beside her and I waited. A few minutes later she turned to me and she looked very concerned for me when she said, "Are you all right?" "Yes," I said. "I'm just sad we're not going to get to the vet in time." "Yep," she said, with a smile as she sat back and relaxed in her seat. The big emotions had passed. I hadn't fixed anything, I was just with her. And I reflected, maybe, just maybe, those many times I thought that I had failed her, I'd actually been doing okay. And maybe that day was one of the many days where 30% actually was good enough. Thank you.